Good afternoon. Bwana asifiwe. As you have heard, my name is Dennis Kamau. I'm a born-again Christian. I come from Trinity Chapel, Ruiru. I am married to one Lydia Wangeshi. We have 3 daughters who are 14, 9, and 7. So we are happily raising them. I'm blessed to be here. I think this could be like the 4th time, if I'm not wrong, that I've been here. And more so when discussing about money. I know you've been going through this. And so today we will handle something probably that is close to most of your hearts. Probably how to increase your money. Nobody, who doesn't love money? Right? Yeah, and greetings from my family. They were not able to come. And I'm glad that this church is also bringing my memories in college. I see Mr. and Mrs. Kagiri here. We went to the same school in college. Good to see you here. And we will dive into our topic today. It may be a bit heavy, so just to pre-warn you, it may be a bit heavy in terms of the content and what you will see. Hopefully you can pick 3 things. But in the first service, I also requested Pastor to avail what you will share today so that you can, the presentation that I have, which then you can be able to refer as an individual, but also discuss as e-groups to make it sink deeper. So I would want us to go direct into the Word of God, and as it is a habit of, Trinity Chapel churches, we always stand when reading God's Word. So I would ask you to stand, and we go to the book of Matthew chapter 25, verses 14. Matthew 25, verse 14. And I will read, now that it's on the screen. Again, it will be like a man going on a journey who called his servants and entrusted his wealth to them. To one, he gave 5 bags of gold, to another 2 bags, and to another 1 bag, each according to his ability. Then he went on his journey. The man who had received 5 bags of gold went at once and put his money to work and gained 5 bags more. Please note, put his money to work. Verse 17. So also the one with 2 bags of gold gained 2 more. But the man who had received 1 bag went off, dug a hole in the ground, and hid his master's money. After a long time, the master of those servants returned and settled accounts with them. The man who had received 5 bags of gold brought the other 5. Master, he said, you entrusted me with 5 bags of gold. See, I have gained 5 more. His master replied, well done, good and faithful servant. His master replied, well done, good and faithful servant. You have been faithful with a few things. I'll put you in charge of many things. Come and share your master's happiness. Verse 22, the man with 2 bags of gold came. Master, he said, you entrusted me with 2 bags of gold. See, I have gained 2 more. His master replied, well done, good and faithful servant. You have been faithful with a few things. I will put you in charge of many things. Come and share your master's happiness. Then the man who had received 1 bag of gold came. Master, he said, I knew that you are a hard man, harvesting where you have not sown and gathering where you have not scattered seed. So I was afraid and went out and hid your gold in the ground. See, here it's what belongs to you. His master replied, you wicked, lazy servant. So you knew that I harvest where I have not sown and gather where I have not scattered seed? Well then, you should have put my money on deposit with the bankers so that when I return, I would have received it back with interest. So take the bag of gold from him and give it to the one who has 10 bags. For whoever has will be given more, and they will have an abundance. Whoever does not have, even what they have will be taken away. They'll be taken from them. And throw that worthless servant outside into the darkness where there will be weeping and gnashing of teeth. God bless his word. You can have your seat. I know this month, the last 2 weeks, you've been learning about money. And you've learned about saving at 10% plus another 10%, right? You've learned about how to track your expenses. You've learned how to live below 50%. My neighbor told me how he has made sure that he's living below 50%. We've learned that as human beings, we have different seasons. And we need to be prepared for those seasons. They will come. It's not if, it's when they come. Like an ant. It knows when it's sunny, it will come and pick food, store underground. When it's rainy, it can't gather food. It will have to stay underground. Then it has food to take it through that time. You've learned about how to track your incomes and how to budget, how to create a roadmap for your money so that you don't wonder where it went, but you're telling it where to go. And Pastor Gita also mentioned how a number of things on how to help you stick to your budget. Because it's one thing making a budget, it's another keeping it. So today, once you have saved your money, you have your money, what next? Do you just put it there? Or do you put it to work? And so today we delve into investing our money. Where do we put it so that it brings another 5? Like the person who was given 5 talents or 5 bags. What do we do? That's what we are going to dwell in today. And so what we are going to do is we are going to do a number of principles that will help us understand how do we invest in a godly way. So we'll handle principles, and then after that we'll go into how to diversify your investments, and we'll get a bit practical, see where you can actually put your money. And then after that we'll pick a few of them and even go deeper. So that by the time you leave here, you can say, I have one, and this is what I know what to do next. And then action follows. So that will be what we'll handle today. From the verse we have read, I want to take an example of Pastor Gitau, who left today and went to Nakuru, according to what Pastor Chuchu has told us. And Pastor Chuchu is in charge, right? The same thing happened in the Bible. So he is in charge, and he will come back. And the first thing Pastor Gitau, when he comes, he will ask, so how was service? How many people got born again? I don't know if he asked you those questions. Did you keep time? How was praise and worship? How many people came? So all those answers you'll have to answer. When at work, you have been acted in an acting role when your boss goes on leave. Because our bosses will also always go on leave. And somebody has to do their work. So have you acted in a role? So your boss leaves and you are left to work to do their work. How did you perform it? They definitely came back. Did you achieve? Did you respond to all the emails? Did you handle all the open issues? Or do they find open issues when they came back, meaning that you never acted on them? A few years back, our former president left the country and went to a certain court outside the country. And you remember what he did? He handed over power. So he said, I've handed over power for this period. I will come back. And surely he came back. And there was a report for him. All those are cases of us as human beings. And so is the story in the Bible. There was this rich man who went and came back. The Bible says, after many days, he came back. You remember, God created Adam, put him in the garden, left, but he used to come, and then after a while, things went south. He was sent away of the garden, and the whole Bible is a story of God trying to bring us back to him. But there's the grand comeback when Jesus comes again, when the trumpet blows. Yeah? In that grand comeback, there will be an account. It seems like life is all about accounts. You are left with something, you account for it. These people, 3 of them, 3 servants, they got talents. One got 5 talents, the first one. And after reading a bit, it looked like a talent. One was worth $600,000. How much is that in Kenya shilling? It's around 600,000 times 150 or 130. Nowadays, it's moving very fast. So you can see how much money that is. So the first one was given 5 talents, which is 3 million. He returned 5 talents. That's 100% return. So you're given 5, you bring 5. And you know what happened? He was told, well done, good and faithful servant. The next one was given to, he brought, so he was given $1.2 million, and he brought back 1.2 million in terms of returns. So it was double. He brought back double. The third one, this one was special because he was given 600,000. It was just one. It wasn't even 5 where you really don't think, you don't need to think much because it's little. But he decided to put it, first of all, he had the wrong motive, the wrong motive in terms of his heart. He didn't have the right posture of his heart concerning his master. And then he dug it in the ground instead of, and from what the Bible says, he could just have put it in a bank. Full stop. It will earn money. He didn't. And you know what happened? He was scolded, he was rejected, he was punished. We read Bible stories and we are always pointing fingers. How could these people do that? I mean, just ask yourself, how? Why? How, as a human being, why would you be given $600,000 and you just put it underground or under your mattress? How? But do you know that's what we are doing every day? What has God given you? In terms of skills, in terms of time, in terms of resources, abilities that you have, the family connections that you have or social connections that you have that could be very helpful for you and for the people around you. The education that you've gotten, have you put it in a way that it brings back more value than you are given? Or are you just sitting on it? I've heard we need people in quests as teachers. All these people, Pastor Chuchu, you can get more than, in this church, you can get more than 20 people coming to quests. But what are we doing? We are sitting. We have put our talents underground, waiting for the master to come. You may not have said what this guy said. What did he say? You harvest where you don't plant. You may not have said it, but you have literally dug in. Now, for this service, I will not dwell on the talent. That will be another day. The talent you have, the time. This service, we are going to mostly focus on money, the resources that you have. That house that you have built, that looks like no other around you. It is the icon. If somebody wants to build, they say, angalia ile nyumba yule mtu wako pale, then fundi anaona venye anakaa, or the architect, then they get an idea. How have you used it? That education you got, all the way to university, or probably you did a course that not many people have done. Maybe some of you have even gone to South Africa to study, or to Harvard. What have you used it for? It's good you're working or you're in business, but how else is that enough? God expects us that everything he has given us, there must be a return. And not just what he gave you. It must increase. It must be of a higher value, whatever you're churning out. God does not give us equal things. He does not expect us to bring back the same. What he expects us is to put to work what he has given us. However little, however much, whatever he has given you, do not compare yourself with the others. I think the guy who got 1, he may have compared himself with the others. Why did he get 5? I will not invest. I'll put it in the ground, underground. There are 3 things I want us to pick from this story very quickly. 3 things. And tell me whether you have achieved those things. These 2 servants were told, well done, good and faithful servant. The first one, well done. It talks about the results. What are the results you are having with the money that God has given you? Now remember, what you have is not yours. You are a steward. You are just there to manage it. The silence tells me you disagree. Let me ask you, why? Let me not use the word why. What did you do to God that you were born around where you were born, and I'm assuming there is no one here from Northeastern or Turkana. But why were you born where you were born and not in Turkana, where 10 months out of 12 you're in drought? And the 2 months when it rains and brings floods. Whatever you had done goes away. What did you do to God? Nothing. Or do you think you did God something to give you the job that you have right now, or the business that you are running right now? Did you give God anything? That tells you that whatever you have is not for you. You have been given to steward. It is God's. But what result are you bringing? From the servants, when this master said, well done, we can see where he didn't say well done. Because he expected results. 100% return. He expects high returns from what we have. He gives you money, use some, save others, the other money you help other people. When you save, put it somewhere to bring more money. That is what he expects. He expects high returns. High returns. He expects it to be done prudently. Don't just put it in the mattress. Now, I know we don't put money under mattress. The guy hid his in the underground. But how much money have you put? And I'm talking to people who already have savings or who have already made up their mind, I am going to save, because, you can't invest without savings, right? So the money you have, where have you put? If you put it, unfortunately for people working in banks, in a bank, in a current account, you're losing that money. You're not earning interest. 2 years from now, you put it there, it will be less. You can buy less things than you have bought 2 years ago. 1 million. If the thing you had bought 2 years ago are fewer right now. Hata kama ni gari. How many vehicles can you buy today with 1 million? What about 5 years back? You could buy a car or 2, and you are good to go with 1 million. Prudently, sit down and determine, where do I put money? What is the risk? What is the return? And how do I diversify? Although prudently. And then 3, that the value of what you are doing must multiply. It must multiply. If it is not multiplying, you have put it underground. And the punishment will be the same when he comes back. Some of the punishment is not even when he comes back. You will start now. If you don't use it the right way, you don't bring in the value God expects you to bring. Consequences, some of them are immediate. Number 2, they were told, well done and good. Well done, good. In your way you handle your resources and money. Can master tell you good? And what does that mean? It is the methods. How are you multiplying the money God has given you? What are those methods? Are you glorifying God in what you are doing? Are you pleasing Him? I will start with the most basic. Those who have families here, you're in a family, whether it's yours or it's your fathers and mothers. Probably you have a domestic manager, we call them house helps. How much do you pay them? How much do you pay them? Are you the people paying them 3,000? Until they eat. They eat in my home. They have a room. So you put in an amount of eating and the room and the bar soap and the toothbrush, and then you say the total is the minimum. How much is the minimum government has said? Is it 15K or something? Yeah? How much are you paying them? Ladies and gentlemen, are you fair to the people that God has given you money to be paying? The same way he has given others to pay you if you're working. The same way he has given you customers, because customers employ you if you're in a business. He has put people under you. How are you glorifying God in the way you pay them? Bwana asifiwe. Are you fulfilling God's purposes? We are supposed to be a blessing to others. Are you doing that? The money God gives us is not ours. It is us and God's people. And that's why Jesus said there are 2 commandments. The first one, love the Lord your God with all your heart, your soul, and your mind. And the second one is like it. Love your neighbor as you love yourself. The 2 go together. You have a responsibility for God's people. How are you glorifying God in that? Are we managing God's assets according to his values? He has values, and we will go through them, some of the principles. Then you will tell me the investments you have done. Have you ever bribed to get a contract? That method, when the master comes back, it's not good. He won't say good. How many of you, how many of us have had to bribe so that we get our way? Then they were told, well done, good and faithful or trustworthy servant. The motivation. What motivates you? You need to understand that you are, and I've already mentioned that we are stewards. It is a privilege that we are where we are, that we have what we have. We are stewards. We are accountable to God, not to ourselves. We are not on our own. Even the Bible says that, don't you know that you are not your own? You have been bought at a price. We are accountable to God. And in terms of motivation, that we should not be discouraged because some other people, we should not compare ourselves with other people because they have gotten more than we have, or they seem to have more under them than we have. It is what we have. That is what God expects us to manage faithfully. And then when he comes back, he tells us, good, well done, good and faithful servant. So where are you? If the master comes back with the little that he has given you, or the much he has given you, will he say, well done, good and faithful servant? That's a question to you. Once we understand that, then let me go to the principles I told you, the methods. The methods. He said, good. Well done, good. What methods are you using? And I want us to look at some of the principles of investing. So you have your money, you want to invest. How do you do it? Number 1 is honesty. Proverbs 13:11. Proverbs 13:11. Dishonest money dwindles away, but he who gathers money little by little makes it grow. Dishonest money dwindles away. One of the principles of investing, godly principles of investing, is you have to be honest. Even he said in the Old Testament, do not put false scales. And we used to have that thing, kitambo, where you are buying sugar, and those ones for Mawe, what are they called? Stones. They're weighing scales. Yeah? They put 1 kilo here, but on the side where they put your meat or your sugar, there is like a stone or something. So whatever you carry is not the value of what you are supposed to. If you wanted 1 kilo, it's much less. Are you honest in what you... How are you honest? How are you doing your business? How are you with your employer, the place you're working in? Are you honest? I saw a story someday going like somebody was saying they have a business and they were complaining how Kenyans are thieves. That our Kenyan culture is just, I don't know if there is such an English word, a thievery culture. We go into business not to work. We go to see what can I get for my own. Nini naweza chukua on the side. What can I take from the side? What is it that I can gain away from the salary I'm being paid? That's what we do. Dishonest. Then number 2, little by little. Little by little. Yeah? Proverbs 28:20, a faithful man will abound with blessings, but he who makes haste to be rich will not go unpunished. When you want to plant an oak tree and a tree tomato, or a tomato tree, which one grows faster? Tomato tree, within 3 months it's ready, and the faster it grows, the faster the fruit goes bad. If you plant an oak tree, it will be there for years. And if in case it's cut, it will give very high quality wood, furniture, the highest quality. Little by little. Forget about this get rich quick or get quick rich schemes. Forget them. Anything that comes, and that's why we are falling into scam. You are told you put money here. If you put 1,000, it will bring you another 1,000 in 3 days. In 3 days. And people who are investing in conventional investments, they can only double after how many years? If you get something 10%, how long will it take you to double it? You need 10 of those, or because of compounding, it may be less, but it's definitely more than 4 years. But you want to double it now. Get rich quick, or get quick rich schemes. I know some of you have seen how people are flashing money and they're saying they have gotten it from Forex. It is good. It is good you can go into Forex, but not go there because it is make you rich. You go there thinking you get rich quick and you get poorer faster than you thought. Bonus if you will. Little by little. That is a godly principle. Little by little. They ask me, what about those who win gold and they get money all of a sudden? Those guys have been running. If you knew the sacrifice they have made to get that money, to get that gold, it's a lot of sacrifice. It didn't just come when they went to the field and got number one. Now, fairness is the number 3. Fairness, I talked about this. Your employees, the people who are subordinate to you at workplace. Proverbs 22:16. He who oppresses the poor to make more for himself, or who gives to the rich will only come to poverty. You oppress so that you become rich. You will surely come to poverty. Be fair. Be fair to your help. Be fair to the people under you. Be fair to the people that you pay in your business. Have a form of fairness. Have you seen that thing that goes? And I've seen that people go to buy to Mama Mboga and they are bargaining for nyanya, those tomatoes. They are bargaining to those women who sell cabbages. You bargain to the blood level, and you don't, literally they are getting 5 shillings. But you go, you enter Java, Art Cafe, you even leave a tip. How big is a tip that you leave? Probably if you've taken 2,000, it said it's at 10%. So you leave 200. How much did you buy a cabbage for? 70 shillings and you bargain to 65. And this lady is only earning 5 shillings. Fairness. Number 4 is diversify. Don't put all your baskets in the same egg. Okay? Don't put all your eggs in the same basket. Ecclesiastes 11:2 says, invest in 7 ventures. Yes, in 8. You do not know what disaster may come upon the land. So disaster will come. It's not if, it is when. If you put everything there, it will go with it. So put in different baskets. And we will handle this in the next session as we continue with this. Diversify. Don't just put in one. That's what happens with get rich quick schemes. You hear they are doubling in 2 days. You take all your money, you put it there. And it all goes away. Some of you have even taken debts. You take debt, and at one point I gave somebody a debt, a soft loan, friendly, soft loan. I didn't know they were putting in DESI. Those years there was something that was called DESI. They put it there, they never paid back. Always have a plan, a long-term plan. It's good that you've discussed about budgeting, but always have a long-term plan. Always. Proverbs 21:5 says, the plans of the diligent lead to profits, as surely as haste leads to poverty. Plan. If you want to put your money somewhere, go plan how you're going to do it. Habakkuk 2, verse 2, talks about having a vision and running with it, writing it big and running with it. There's one here I want to mention. Only invest in things that you understand. Things that you understand. Don't just go into things because people are making money. Understand first. Understand first what you're getting into. If you decide to go to Forex, understand first all the risks, all the returns. When you measure both, determine, is this right for me? So make sure that you understand, even if you want to go into farming. Please, some of you, or some people probably not here, they have gone into farming and they realize that they would rather have gone to Forex rather than farming because it didn't work. They invested even their time going up country, but it all got lost. Seek advice. That's the next one. Seek advice. If you don't know, ask. Don't just listen to people telling you these are the returns. Do it for yourself, plus also if it's too technical, seek advice. Proverbs 12 verses 15, it says, the way of a fool is right in his own eyes, but a wise man listens to advice. Seek advice. Let me leave you at that. But also not forgetting that there is the issue of taxes. Are you paying your tax? Are you evading? Are you avoiding? Which one is legal? There's one that is legal. Evading. Evading is legal. If you go to the legal terms, you will tell when are you able to evade tax. If I take a life insurance, I must follow up with my insurance person for them to give me a certificate so that I can take that certificate to my employer and then they can reduce the amount taxable. But tax, we said evasion is the legal one. Evading is illegal. Avoiding is the one that is legal. Yes, I got confused a bit. So tax avoidance is legal. Tax evasion is what most of us are doing. You're not paying your taxes. Give to Caesar what belongs to him and to God what belongs to him. I said we are covering godly principles. And you see how this catch up with us later on. The Bible talks of Proverbs 22, it talks about the blessing of God that maketh rich and has no sorrow. That blessing of God, if you have not applied godly principles in your investments, it will bring you riches for sure. Riches will come. Whatever you do, riches will come. However, if you do not apply godly principles, there will be sorrow accompanying those riches. And there are many. There are so many. So do you want God's blessings or do you want riches? Apply God's principles in your investment so that you can have God's blessings, which will give you riches without sorrow. So you have the principles of investments. Then where do we put it? So I'll give you a few examples here. And to start with, I want to show you why investment is a game of compounding. Compounding means I put 100 shillings, I get 1 shilling, or let's say 10 shilling in 1 year. Next year it will be 110 shillings because the interest is there. It will also earn. So there's a book called The Richest Man in Babylon. So it explains that put your gold, and your gold will give you a silver. That is the interest. Then don't eat that silver. Put it back. It will give you a bronze. And then when you get the bronze, don't eat it. Put it back. It will bring you... The third one, the fourth one is usually what? Diamond or something. On and on. So that is the compounding impact of investments. And I want to bring you here, I want to show you how important it is. I want to pick 4 people based on your age. We want, by the time, the case study here is that by the time you are 65 years old, you will have 5 million shillings at hand from savings, and these savings you're putting them somewhere where you will earn 10% every year. So 5 million at 65 years, and it's earning you 10% per year. The person who is 25 years old, they will only need, and you can see the purpose of saving, you will only need 790 shillings from 25 years to when you are 65 to get to 5 million. Just 790. Is that doable? It is doable. 790 shillings. Now, you lose 10 years. And let's come to the second person who is 35 years. He has lost 10 years. And we are many here. There are many. There are many here who have lost 10 years already. You are 35. Or you are in your 30s. And you have not started savings and investing. You will need 3 times what the first guy did. 2,190. That's what you will need. Now, the problem comes when you get to 4th floor. Nanaona hapa. Joe. Yeah? We are there. Yeah? You get to 4th floor, 45 years, you will need 3 times what the other who was at 5 will need. 6,530. Now it's starting to get a bit harder to do that saving every month. But what about those who are in first service? I don't know if there is anyone here in first service. Those who are 50, 55. Do you know how much you need to reach? By the time you are 65, you get 5 million, earning 10%. 3 times the 6,000. You need 3 times that. That is 21,410. The power of compounding and the assets of being young. As a youth, this is the most important asset you have at hand. Time. Time. They say time is money. This is how it is. That's how it is money. So when you're investing, there are 3 things I want you to remember. So there are 4 things. The last one will be growing your money, putting it in an investment so that it can grow. But there are 3 here that are very fundamental. One is investing in your health. Your health. Your health. If you're not healthy, how are you going to enjoy life? So eat well, exercise, have a medical insurance so that you are in better health. Invest in your health. Number 2, invest in your career. If you're employed, go for that extra course. Go for that master's, PhD, go for it. It will make you, if it will make you get a promotion or it will make you get a side hustle, go for it. There are so many courses that you can do right now online. You don't even need to go to a school physically, online. Look for things like Udemy, udemy.com. They are there. Look for courses that you can do that can help you improve your work and therefore get more income or start a side hustle. Invest in your career. Number 3, invest in your business. Business people here, invest in that business. Train your employees. The late founder of Apple, was asked by somebody, why do you spend a lot of money to train people? What if they leave after you train them? Then he asked, the person was asking him, he asked him, what do we do if we don't train them and they stay? Are you in business? Train your people. You will actually see the impact of training your people. Productivity will go up. Customer service, customers will be happier. Invest in that kind of investment for your business. Set up systems. Get a consultant, and they are here. Let them pay them to set up systems for you. Get experienced professionals. Pay them more money. And then they help your business. They run with you in your business. Invest in that business. You will multiply the kind of revenues that you're making. The next one is grow your income. Grow your money. How do you grow it? I told you it's heavier. So how do you grow it? I want to start with diversification. Whenever you are growing your money in investments, you must diversify. This diversification is in different ways. So you'll see some overlaps. But what you do is make sure that you have diversified your money, that you've put your money in different, let me call them pockets. So that you're not putting your money in just long-term investments or in just cash that is liquid. that you can access anytime, that you have money, your savings are placed in many areas so that you can diversify. So one way of diversifying is time horizon. Make sure that you have some money put under short-term investment vehicles. Make sure that you have money put under medium-term investment vehicles, and also some under long-term investment vehicles. And I have put them there. For short-term, if you talk about savings accounts, which I don't like talking much because also the interest for savings accounts in banks is not as much. Money markets, that's another thing, and we'll talk about it as we go. But this is where you put funds, I put my funds, you put your funds, become a fund, then you get a professional who invests those money or that money in treasury bills, in government bonds, in equities. That is what we know as shares. And then the return they get, they pay us, they distribute to us, but we pay them a management fee. So those are examples of short-term. Medium-term, fixed deposits. You can do a fixed deposit of 1 year. So short-term is 1 to 3 months. Anything above 3 months to 1 year, that is medium-term, or to 2 years. And here you can see fixed deposit, SACCOs. I don't know how many people have put savings in SACCOs. Treasury bills, they are those that go for 1 year, and insurance vehicles. Now, long-term, this is where you have bonds, which can go for 3 years to 30 years. Stock market, do not buy Safaricom shares so that you can sell by end of this year. That is not a prudent strategy. For shares, it must be long-term. Real estates, you buy a plot, we call them maguta. Now, for the online one, in case you don't understand what maguta means oily. Yeah? Oily. And it means that it's attractive. There are returns. There's a bypass passing there. There will be an ocean created. Then you can have beach view. That's what it means. So you are being sold at a very low price with the understanding that something big will happen there to appreciate the value of your plot. If you buy that and you want to sell this year, you might end up selling it in 2028. Because of lack of a buyer. It's not liquid, but it's also not productive. And it doesn't really appreciate as much. However, it's long-term, you can go for it, but again, put some there, not everything. Don't be in the business of just putting money in plots. Bring in other things. Now, the second way you can diversify is the investment type. By this I mean 3 things. You either have cash and cash equivalents, or you become an owner, or you become a lender. How do you do that? If you become an owner, when you buy Safaricom shares, those are called equities. You become an owner of that company. That is one way of becoming an owner. So make sure there is some money that you have out of your savings. Put it in ownership. An investment that you can say, I am an owner. There are some things called REITs. We'll talk about them. Real estate investment trusts. Those give you ownership. Then make sure that you have put some of your money in lending investments. Become a lender. We are known to be borrowers. You talk to everyone here, almost everyone is a borrower. For heaven's sake, just once, become a lender. Just become a lender. And it is so easy. You have the instruments. And I'm not asking you to lend to your brother or to your friend, which is soft loans, which are extremely high risk. I'm asking you to lend in some investments that are low risk, but you become a lender to the government. Bonds are debt instruments. You become a lender to the government. So put in some money. There are some private bonds. Put some money and become a lender to those private companies. Become a lender. Number 3 is cash and cash equivalents, which you have the money market funds, the fixed deposits, and the savings. Remember, this is about diversifying, that you put your money so that it is in different places. Now, out of diversifying, I want you to see the options, different options that we have. So where can you put your money? We have something we call NSC, which no longer means Nairobi Stock Exchange. It means Nairobi what? Securities Exchange. It was changed from, it was changed so that we can be able to include other products that were not there traditionally. And those are the funds. So there are so many products under NSE. You go to their website and you see all those products mentioned. Exchange traded funds, commodity derivatives, rates, carbon credits, derivatives, futures, next. All those are products in Nairobi Securities Exchange that you can put your money in. We said make sure you understand wherever you put your money. Did we say that? So make sure that you understand them before you put your money. Make sure you understand them or seek expert help. Do not be worried or do not fear losing some money to get information. So even if it means paying somebody, then you get the right information. Those things that you cannot understand, they will help you understand. So all those are products that you have that you can put your money. For all those people who've been saying, oh, I don't know what to do with my money, I don't know how many so far I've given you. Yeah, already. Now, let me go to the next option. Unit trust. We mentioned about that. And I said what it is. Now, when you go to any unit money market, they will give you, you'll find them telling you, choose a product. So there will be different products. One of them is money market, which is low risk and low return. These are purely invested in treasury bonds. Most of the time, money market will be treasury bonds. Now, the same money market funds will also have something called fixed income. It means they are investing in things that bring some fixed income, that this is the income you will get on this day and on this day. Like government bonds, that's what happened. You're told you pay, and then you get money back. On this date, you'll be paid interest. This day, you'll be paid interest. And then this day, you get your principal back. Those are an example of fixed incomes. So when a company starts bringing in that, then they become, when a fund brings in that, they become fixed income. So when you're told to choose between money market and fixed income, that's the difference. Fixed income is a bit of a higher risk because some of them are likely to bring in other products. Now, there's something called balance funds. Still, you find it under money market funds, which you go into equities. You will do things like rates and bonds. So it becomes more mixture. So you pick the treasury bills, the bonds, and then you add higher risk things. So balanced fund is more riskier, but more often it will have more higher return. Higher return, higher risk. So that is fixed income. And I have a list of money market funds that are available in Kenya, and I've put them in order of how they earned in the first week of March. And you will see, we have names there: Etika, Saiton, Lofty, Gen Africa, Nabo, Kuza, Mali, Jubilee, Absa, African Alliance, Zimele. And you can see there are two categories. There is money market and there is fixed income funds. Do you see the returns? Those are the returns. You put in your money. Each of these names you can mention. You can go to Google and you Google it, so you find they have different ways of operating. And some of them would be, they have a minimum amount that you need to put. Some of them will tell you cannot withdraw. If you withdraw this frequently, you'll be charged a certain amount of money. Some of them have very good online platforms. Some of them you don't even need to fill a physical paper. They are purely online. So those are some of the ways you can look at money markets and see which one do I join. And the returns, definitely. As Kenyans, we know that is where we first look. What are the returns? So I was telling the first service that I am in Zimele and CIC and Sanlam. But when I was preparing for this sermon, I realized they are newcomers. Etika, I had not heard of it. And looking at it, the whole of last year, they have been number one, and this year so far in terms of return. So I said, there's no way I'm going to be earning 8% CIC. If you look at the fixed one, fixed income, 7.45, and there's one bringing me here 17%. That is not prudent. It is not prudent. So I'm going to read more about them, understand who they are, what they have done before, and then if it's a tick, I'll put in my money. Do something, if anything, by the end of this service, if you go and research about money markets and open an account and put in your savings, your service will have been of much value. The other option is government securities. Become a lender to government. Treasury bills, treasury bonds. Treasury bills are shorter term. Bonds are long term. Treasury bills are either 90 days, actually 91 to be more specific, or 182 days, or 364 days. Meaning, when you buy on 91 days, you buy now, and then you get your money back in 91 days. Now, so what you do is, if you have 100,000, you want to buy 100,000 worth of treasury bills, they will sell you at a discount, say 92K. This is for example. So you buy something for 100K, but they will sell you at 92K. Then they will pay you 100,000 at the end. That's how you make your 8,000. So that's how they work. You buy at a discount. Bonds, you buy, if it's 100,000, you're given 100,000 worth, but you earn interest at fixed intervals. So they will pay you interest in 6 months, after every 6 months, until when the period is over, and then you can get back your principal. So that is treasury bonds. Under treasury bonds, we have infrastructure bonds, which are given by government to do a certain project, and most of the time they're usually tax-free. So where do you get 18% return, which is tax-free or after tax? You're not charged tax. Do something. Go to your phone, download an app called CSD. You'll find it there. The good thing is that we are all tech savvy. So if you go, you search for that, CSD, download it, register. They will ask you for documents and bank accounts. They will verify, then you will register with them. Once you are done, then you'll be able to transfer your money you wait for government to announce a bond. Once they announce, you make a bid in this app. After reading what the bid is all about, you need to understand the period, the terms and conditions. Then you come to the app, make a bid. Once you have the bid, then you transfer money from your bank to CBK. How many here have even sent money to a CBK account? How many? Probably none. None. So you have an opportunity to be dealing one-on-one. You know, you're walking past Haile Selassie and you're saying, yeah, I have an account here. Central Bank. Yeah? Not just commercial banks. Central Bank of Kenya. Yeah? So that's all you need to do to get that. And for you to manage whether to buy or to sell, for those who don't have smartphones, then that USSD can work, *886#. It will work. You can also do this indirectly. By that I mean you can use your banks, commercial banks. The only difference is that they will charge you a management fee because of transacting on your behalf. So that's option 2, government securities. And under government securities, there was something that came in a while ago, M-Akiba. I'm not sure it's still active, but it's basically you can buy government securities through your phone, through something called M-Akiba, which used to be, I think, *889#. And this was for mass market, for Mama Mboga, who they only have 3,000. They can't get the 100,000. So with a minimum of 3,000, you could actually invest in government securities using M-Akiba. Can I look at something else called REITs, investments, real estate investments, trusts? This could be new to many of you. So this is where we will put money. Many people will put money in a fund. Then this fund will go and build apartments, or commercial or residential. Once they have built them, they will sell and make a profit. So if you are investing to make a profit out of such, it's called a D-REIT, Development Real Estate Investment Trust, D-REIT. Now, where my interest is, and where I think it should be, is where it's a different account, money is put from different investors, then you do a building, and people come in and rent. Then you have monthly income. Now, these things are regulated, and they have been told you must distribute 80% of your earnings, of your income after removing expenses to the people who give you the money. 80%. So you can only be left with 20%. So you are sure that 80% of what they earn will come to you. So they build, and mostly they are dealing with student accommodation. So they build a one bedroom. The rent that is coming to it, it's shared. Then you become, instead of doing those plots, this is a good way to earn. How can you do that? There's one called ILAM. The name of the product is called Fahari. If you Google Fahari, iRate, you will see. Now, there's another one called Akon Holding Students Accommodation. They have built a number of them like Kwetu, Kejani. Those are apartments they have built for students to live in, and then the students are paying. So if you go, you look for VUCA. VUCA is their platform to help mass markets. People who cannot invest probably more than 10 million. Anything less than 10 million. Then you have an opportunity to put in the money that you have and become a real estate owner. So look for VUCA. Those are options I'm giving you. Now, we also mentioned about high risk. And I'll finish this with a high risk investments. Why do I high risk? Most of the things I've told you are low risk. You need to put in, again, under diversification, something that is high risk. Do you know why? One, it's obvious, it has higher returns. Okay? It's anything that is high risk. We said investment is risk, return. High risk, high return. Low risk, low return. The thing is, if it's high risk, it means you can get zero return. Okay? But you can also lose your capital. That's what high risk means. But we need these things. Do you know why? Have you seen people who retire, they have their huge pension, and then they decide, this is the time I've been working, now this is the time to do my own business. And they put all the money in one business. Then it goes down. After it goes down, they don't have the strength, the stamina, to overcome that. And the next thing we hear is there's high blood pressure, then they're in hospital, and then we are saying soil, return to soil. Is that what we say? I know it in Kikuyu. Soil, return to soil. Yeah? That's the next thing we are saying, unfortunately. How do we avoid that? We build resilience inside ourselves. Start something risky now. Let it fail. Lose your money. Get shocked now when you are young. Don't wait to be shocked when you are old. When you are older, 65 plus, you get shocked, you go. But if you start now and the shock comes, now when you are 20, you are 30, you are 40, you are 50, what happens when you are 80? You won't feel anything. You are ready. You have the shock absorbers needed for such loss. So take something high risk. Some of them I've indicated here, but their shares are high risk. Shares. People who bought KQ, where are they now? You can't even sell. You actually do not have money. Literally. So equity is one of the risky ones, but go for them. Go for them. The good thing is that they are fundamentals. There is a company, there is value creation behind it. Now, Forex. And when I say Forex, I don't mean what I mentioned earlier, where you hear somebody is making, how much was it? Is it 100,000 per day or something? I invested today, I woke up, this was my size of account. At the end of the day, I had 100,000. And some of them actually, they're in dollars. And so you start calculating, what is 139 times $100,000? That money, then you put all your money there. And the next thing, everything is gone. You even no longer coming to church. We want you to stay in church. So this is what you do. In these risky investments, don't put everything. I have put in one, and I've put less than 10%. That's the best thing. So as this one grows, I can also grow my high risk. But there's a limit. Don't put all your money in high risk investments. So I've put in one. So those Forex, be careful. They will tell you, then you go, they will train you. You pay them to train you. Then you put your money, you lose it. And also because you want to make money fast. And so you want to take high, it's called leverage. And then you lose. I've gone in one, which is called the Standard Investment Bank. It's called Mansa X. provided by standard investment banks. So what they do, they will pick people's funds, and then they will invest them in currencies. They will invest in precious metals, commodities, stocks. There are things called fixed income, and they don't just do it here. They are doing it globally. So they are dealing with New York Stock Exchange, London Stock Exchange, so Hong Kong Stock Exchange, all those. So it becomes global, so that even if something happens in Kenya, then you know that I still have a portion that is beyond the politics of Kenya. And you know, sometimes Kenyan politics can get tricky. So you want to, again, diversify. Get out of, you invest in a bit of Kenya and say, I have something in Google. Google Incorporation. Yeah? Don't just have a Google phone or Google search. Own a piece of it. Okay? This is the only way to do that. Now, I have done that, so I am in this. They have been giving us 18% in the last 1 year, even this year, 18%. And as I said, 18%, it's not a small percentage, by the way. It is a lot. Those who are looking to double every day, I think that could be 1,000%. If you want to double, or 10,000%, if you want to double your money every day, we are talking of 18% per year. It's a very good return. So that's another one you can take. I have given you so many options. Alternatives, there are many of them. But make sure that you take something that is risky now. Start a business. For young people, I mean, not even young, even the old ones, you can start. At least before you get to that stage, start a business. I started one, and we really wanted to do something. So we thought, selling shoes, and ladies' shoes. And we started, and decided, now we are going to take it up country. As I told you, employees, my goodness. She was not selling, she was just sitting there. So customers are not even coming, and those come are not happy. Then she started stealing shoes from us. We just closed it. And how we had gotten her, we had been supporting the mother. And so we decided, your daughter is of age now, can we take her so that she can start earning money? Only for her to steal from us. So stock, you don't know where stock is going. We took that risk. Now I have a bit more of shock. I've tried taxi business, where you take a car, you hire. Then they told they could hide that they have gotten this money. They could tell me police issues and all that. Again, I made losses, building my capacity to handle shock. I've done many. I tried getting into Desi. Good thing my wife was there and she told me don't. Then I told her, let me put 1,000 bob. Otherwise I wanted to put 100,000. The same week I put it. It went down. My 1,000 bob was gone. I'm not telling you to get into such. What I said is understand. Then I didn't understand. Understand what you're getting into. So in your pursuit for money, and I'm finishing now. In your pursuit for money, follow godly principles. Even if you don't follow godly principles, you will become rich. Unfortunately for Christians, even those who don't follow, they become rich. They bribe, they get contracts. Don't they get rich? You will become rich, even if you don't follow. The difference is here. The one who follows godly principles will become rich. And that richness will be out because of God's blessings. The one who doesn't follow these principles, godly principles, they will get rich. But that those riches will not be out of God's blessings, and instead they'll be accompanied by sorrow. Have you seen people who are rich, but they are never happy? Okay. Actually, let's not go to those people. How many of you here really mourn when you lose your phone? Your world crashes when you lose your phone. You better think about it. As in, you do not have peace with the things you have. If they get lost, you can even leave church for 1 month because you lost your phone. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah? You don't have peace of mind because of the riches that you have. The problem is the way you gained it. Start afresh and start applying godly principles, and God's blessings will accompany those riches. and there will be no sorrow. I pray that the Lord will be rich towards you, so that we find our life not in possessions, but in abundance in God. That He will help us to apply His principles in our investments, so that we will have God's blessings as our riches, which are not accompanied by sorrows. And there are so many. I can read for you some here. Have you heard of rich men and women, for that matter, and youths who fear losing their riches? They fear their competitors. They can't even sleep at night. The pressure of their status leads even to more consumption, taking their profits and what they have earned. They fear that death will end the good life. So they fear death. They dread the taxman. They fear those who will take over their estates, their children, that they somehow might be foolish and squander all that they worked for. That's the kind of fear they live in. We don't want to live under such. There's a gentleman who passed on in Nigeria. Was it Credit Bank? I just saw a picture of the house, a video of the house he was living in. It was magnificent. But the video was saying about 3 caskets that came back and were brought to that house. Huge. I hope and I pray that he knew God. But definitely that's where we are headed. The question is, when the master comes back, will he call you? He will tell you, well done, good and faithful servant.